Hello, my name's Alexander White, and I want to tell you all about scoring in Luna. Luna is the relatively new DAW from Universal Audio. It's been out 2 or 3 years now, I think, but previously it was only available to people with a Universal Audio Apollo interface. Just recently, however, they opened it up to anyone with a Mac, and it's a really great fun piece of recording software to use. I personally love using it. I use it as my main DAW now. But one thing it doesn't have is built-in video. So you can't load a video into Luna and start to score to it. So what I want to show you is some great workflow workarounds for how you can actually solve that problem and make scoring in Luna a reality. So first of all, let me just show you a recent trailer that I scored for a customer in Luna, and then we'll talk about how I actually did it.
Surely not.
Is it another test?
Stay calm and stay in your own house. By leaving your home, you could be exposing yourselves to greater danger.
We need to find other people and safety.
Safety? We've got loads of food and water here.
And that's the trailer that I scored all in Luna. So let's just dive in and see all the tools that I needed to go and get and how I actually set this up. Okay, here's a blank Luna project. So the first thing that we're going to get delivered when we're scoring to video is a video. So what do we do? Because there is no video track in Luna. Well, there's a great piece of software, and I've just got it hiding over on my other screen over here. And it's called VidPlay VST. Just go to vidplayvst.com, or VidPlay is probably the name of the piece of software. And this is a plugin that you can use to play back video that lines up with your timeline. Wherever you jump your playhead to, the video will jump to that point as well. So straight away, you're able to compose to video right off the bat with this. And I'll show you how this works. So here we are back in Luna. And the first thing I do is create an instrument track rather than an audio track. So it's actually a software instrument plugin. So go here, and we'll choose, there it is, VidPlay plugin. Won't do anything else for now, keep it in stereo. And you get this lovely little plugin pop up here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to open a video file. I'm going to go to my desktop, choose the trailer, and open it up. Takes a little moment, and then once it's loaded in, you can hit play and you get...
Surely not.
Is it another test?
The video. And if we jump over to the timeline and I actually cycle through my timeline a little bit, you'll see that the video is changing to line up with my timeline. So now we have a wonderful way of actually scoring to video in Luna. But there is something else that's incredibly helpful in scoring to video, and that's markers. So what I did for this is I actually jumped over briefly to Logic. Now the purpose of this video is not to say that you should compose in Luna and that's what you should be doing and it should all be done in Luna. It's a choice. If you enjoy using Luna, but you have a couple of other DAWs that you'd be happy to work in, but you'd really like to go and use Luna, briefly jump over to one of those DAWs just to give you the markers so you can bring those into your Luna session. So let's briefly jump over to Logic and we'll go and do the automatic scene finding in Logic, and then we can bring that over into Luna, and then I'll show you one more little tip that really helps you keep your scene markers in line with your video as you work. So over in Logic, what I'm going to do now is import the video into Logic. So let's go File, Movie, Open Movie, go to my desktop, open this up, open the movie, extract the audio track, all absolutely fine. The movie frame rate doesn't match the project frame rate. The movie frame rate has 24. Yep, we'll use the same frame rate as the video. So cool, there we go. So now we've got that trailer video in Logic. And this is what's cool, is we can go to the movie section here, and we can go, we will create marker set from scene cuts. And what this is doing is it's just busy searching through, and it gives us all of the points during the video where there's a scene change. This is really, really helpful for scoring because it means you can jump straight to the point when something has changed scene-wise, which might be important to accent when you're composing. I use this quite a lot when I'm composing, just to go, cool, right, well, there's a scene change here. Should I be prepared to accent something about that in the music? So that's really important. But of course, Luna doesn't do this, so this is why I've jumped over to Logic to help me out. Then all I do is create a MIDI track. So we'll go new software instrument track. There we go. I will change this to a pencil tool. Just click a little region there. I'll very quickly just make a little note, just so we've got something there. And then all I'm going to do is stretch that note out. And I don't think this is really terribly important, but I'm going to stretch it all the way out, just to the end, just to make sure that I've got everything that I need all the way to the end. And there we go. So all I do is I export this MIDI file out of Logic, and I then import it into Luna, and then I'll show you where we go from there. So here we go, selection as MIDI file. Pop it on my desktop, go call it film marker file. Cool, there we go. Save. And that's all that we need to do in Logic. So now let's hop back over to Luna. Back in Luna, we're now going to import that MIDI file. So let's go to my desktop, grab the file, drag it over, just pop it somewhere over here. And it says the imported MIDI file contains tempo map. Do you want to keep the tempo map? So well, it doesn't really matter, use tempo map. But the big important thing is if you look, it's imported all of the marker sets. So you can just drop that little arrow down so you can see clearly. There we go. So now I've got all of the scenes in my markers, which is pretty cool. So that means that when I'm watching the video now, if we go back to the start and play, you'll see it's changing. I'll just mute that for a second. It's changing with every single scene change in the video. And we can also just go ahead and delete this MIDI file now because we've got our scene markers. And that's fantastic. So now we've got scene markers for the video. We've got the video. We could start composing and we'd be able to really see what's happening in our trailer. But there is a problem with markers in Luna at the moment as well. And that's that the markers are linked to the tempo, not to the timeline. At the moment, you cannot SMPTE lock the markers. In other words, when you change the tempo, which you often do when composing to film, that means your markers are going to get out of line because they will be shifting along with the tempo. So that's kind of a challenge. So what we do about this, or what I like to do about this, is just simply create a track with a region on it that I split up at the same points as our current markers, and then you can lock that audio region to the timeline. So essentially you're just using a track and a region as your marker set. So I'll show you how we do that. So I go over here, choose an audio track. It really doesn't matter. Just record anything onto it. Again, it doesn't matter. Blank audio is fine. Just quickly record some blank audio. There we go. That's brilliant. I will close this just for a moment. Then what we're going to do is duplicate this until we've got about the right length of the movie. There we go. Select the whole region, press Alt Shift or Option Shift 3, and that does that. Now, this is a fairly easy thing to do. All we have to do is cycle to each region, because in Luna, I think it's in navigation, if we go to selection, you can simply move to next marker and previous marker with these shortcuts. So I use a control surface for my shortcuts, so it's sort of all embedded in here. But basically all we do is we make sure that we've got the track selected, and we just go separate, 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 separate. And all I'm doing is making that audio file, every time we get to a scene, split up. And that's it. There we go. We've just created all of our markers. So now it doesn't matter if our main markers get out of time because we've changed the tempo. We can go to the track section over here, make sure we click time, and then no matter what we do, when we're changing our tempo throughout the trailer or film that you're scoring to, it doesn't matter what we do. These will always have breakpoints at those points, which is the thing that I find is really helpful. And then it's really easy to rename one of these things. It could be explosion, for example, and then you've got explosion there. And you can just move it around. And what's nice about this is it lets you just move this down next to a track that you're working with. Maybe you're working with the drone and you want to get the drone to fade out just at the right point when one of these scenes ends. Perfect. It's really useful. And that is pretty much how I set Luna up for scoring. And then I'll simply open this up and get to work on making the music to the trailer. The plugin itself has some cool features. You've got full screen for being able to, you know, just put it into full screen so you can really watch the entire thing. And you just simply press escape if you want to shrink it back down. It's a really nice plugin to use. So far it's been really reliable. It hasn't caused me any troubles at all. So there we go. I hope that is super useful to give you an idea of how you could go about scoring in Luna without really any drawbacks. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really hope you've got something out of this video, and I will see you on another video next week.